And coming to the properties of acids and bases, we already discussed all these things, but here I am explaining with some examples. So first one is a neutralization reaction. So when the acid is reacted with the base, then it can able to produce the salt and water. So for example, when you take the acetic acid, so when it is reacted with the sodium hydroxide, then it can able to form the sodium acetate. Sodium acetate is the salt and water. So this is the sodium acetate. Sodium acetate, salt and water. And when the acid is reacted with the metal oxides, for example, when the sulfuric acid, so this is the H2SO4 is the sulfuric acid. When it is reacted with the metal oxide, that is copper oxide, so that is a copper oxide, then it can able to form the salt, that is nothing but the copper sulfate. So the salt formed here, it is the copper sulfate and water. And another one is when the acid is reacted with the ammonia. Then also it can able to form the salt. So here example is the hydrochloric acid. So when it is reacted with the ammonia, so NH3 is the ammonia, then it can able to form the ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is the salt. So these are the example for neutralization. So when the acid is reacted with the metals, then it can able to form the salt and hydrogens. For example, when the hydrochloric acid is reacted with the magnesium, then it forms the magnesium chloride as the salt. And hydrogen. And when the acid is reacted with the carbonate, then it forms the salt, water and carbon dioxide. So for example, when the hydrochloric acid is treated with the calcium carbonate, so this is the calcium carbonate. So when it is reacted with the hydrochloric acid is reacted with the calcium carbonate, then it forms the calcium chloride as the salt and carbon dioxide and water. Calcium chloride as the salt, carbon dioxide and water. And so when the acid is reacted with the hydrogen carbonates, so that is bicarbonates. For example, when the hydrochloric acid is reacted with the sodium bicarbonate, or it is also called as sodium hydrogen carbonate, then it can able to form the salt, carbon dioxide and water. That means when the hydrochloric acid is reacted with the sodium bicarbonate, then it forms the NaCl, sodium chloride as the salt, carbon dioxide and water. So that means the acid and base has a particular characteristics that should be utilized in our biological system to maintain a particular environment, or they can able to maintain the homeostasis. So when you look at the acid characteristics or base characteristics or their neutralization capability, for example, so when you assume the environment of G80, so to the stimulation the acid is produced from the parietal cells of intestine that can be neutralized by the bicarbonate ions which are produced from the intestine. So that means there is a balancing is maintained, then only there is a homeostasis condition is maintained in our body. So these characteristics of acids and bases playing the major role in maintain the homeostasis in our biological systems. So here we can see the differences between the acids and bases. So we can also observe the similarities and differences between the acid and bases. So here first we'll see the differences. Acid having the sour taste, bases having the bitter taste, and so in case of acids we cannot feel the slippery sensation, but in case of bases we can feel the slippery sensation. And acids having the pH less than 7, bases having the pH greater than 7. Acids releases the H plus ions when they are dissolved in the aqueous solution. Bases produces the OH minus ions when they are dissolved in the aqueous solution. And acids can turn the red litmus to blue color. Bases can turn the blue litmus paper to red color. So up to now we discussed the differences. So when you see the similarities, they are dissolved in water. So both acids and bases can able to dissolve in water. Okay, both are having the same property, that is they are dissolved in water. And second one is, when they are dissolved in water, they can produce the solution which can able to conduct the electricity. So both acid and bases, when they are dissolved in water, and that solution can be converted into a solution that can able to conduct the electricity. Okay, and both acid and base can irritate our skin. These three properties are similar to the acids and bases. And coming to the importance of acids and bases in pharmacy, so by using the acids and base we can prepare the suitable salts, or required salts can be prepared by using these acid and base. And we can convert these salts into more suitable forms by using either acid or base. It can be used for preparation of effervescent mixtures. By using this acid and base we can prepare the effervescent mixtures. Effervescent means those compounds which can able to liberate the carbon dioxide from the solutions. This acid and base can be used for analytical procedures for determination of the different types of compounds, and they are also used for adjustment of the pH of GIT, body fluids and urine. And coming to the types of acids and bases, there are 4 types: strong acid, weak acid, strong base and weak base. So first we will see about the strong acids and strong base. The strong acid or strong base can completely dissociate into ions when it is dissolved in aqueous solution. Example for the strong acids are hydrochloric acid, nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Example for strong bases includes sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, barium hydroxide. So these are the example for strong bases. That means these compounds are completely dissociated into ions when they are dissolved in the aqueous solution. And in case of weak acid or weak base, so they are slightly dissociated into ions when they are dissolved in the aqueous solution. So the weak acid or weak base is nothing but the substances which can slightly dissociate into ions when they are dissolved in the aqueous solution. Example for the weak acids are acetic acid and carbonic acid. Acetic acid and carbonic acid are example for weak acids, and for the weak base, ammonia and ammonium ethane. Ammonia and ammonium ethane are example for weak bases. And coming to the strength of acid or base, we'll use the term pH. For representing the strength of acid or base, we'll use the term pH, small p and capital H. This is the term which is used to represent the strength of acid or base. So that means it represents the potential of hydrogen ions which are present in the acid or base. So generally the strength of the acid or base is represented as the concentration of hydrogen ions which are present in a particular solution. So for representing the concentration of hydrogen ion in acid and base is difficult. For that reason, we'll use the term that is a pH to represent the strength of acid or base. So one of the scientists, Sorensen, denoted the pH and he established the pH scale. So based upon the pH scale, we can determine or we can express the strength of acid or base. As I said that the strength of the acid or base is represented or expressed in terms of concentration of H plus ion which is present in the particular acid or base, and take the 1 ml of 0.1 molar solution of strong acid and strong base, so the 1 ml of 0.1 molar strong acid consisting of 1 hydrogen ion, and this 0.1 molar strong base consisting of 0.000000, that means 10 to the power of minus 14 ions, 10 to the power of minus 14 H plus ions. So for expressing these terms in calculations is difficult. For that reason, the scientist Sorensen will establish the pH term. So that is nothing but so that means he applied the logarithm for these values. So he applied the logarithm for these values. So then it can be converted into normal values that can be easily handled in our calculations. He applied the common logarithm for hydrogen ion concentration. Common logarithm for hydrogen ion concentration. So pH is inversely proportional to H plus ions. That means pH is nothing but logarithm of inverse H plus ions. So that means he proposed the definition for pH is nothing but logarithm of reciprocal of hydrogen ion concentration. Logarithm of reciprocal of hydrogen ion concentration. In other terms, negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration. Negative logarithm of hydrogen ion concentration is termed as the pH. Okay. So based upon that, he devised a scale, that is a Sorensen scale. Solutions of the substance which are having the pH below 7 value, they are considered as the acids, and the solutions of the substances which are having the pH above 7 are considered as the bases, and the solutions of the substances which are having the pH 7 are considered as the neutral solutions or neutral substance. Okay. So here we can, so in this scale we can see the color of litmus paper also. So when it is reacted with either acid or base, so what type of color they can produce we can see in this scale. So as we already discussed at the characteristics of acid and base, so here we can see the detection of pH of a particular solution, so by using the litmus papers. So when you dip the blue color litmus paper into the acid, then it can turn the blue color litmus paper into red color, and when you dip the red color litmus paper into the base, then it can turn the red color litmus paper into red color. Okay, and there is a universal pH indicator papers, and when you dip that indicator paper into a particular solution, based upon their pH, it shows a particular color. That color is matched with the pH scale. So when you match that color with the pH scale, then we can determine the pH of that particular solution. So this is the one type of technique which are used to determine the pH of a particular solution. And another technique which is used for the determination of pH is nothing but pH meter. So in this pH meter, so there is a glass electrode is present. When we dip that glass electrode into a particular solution, so based upon the ionic concentration present in particular solution, it can produce the result in pH. So we will discuss this procedure and principle involved in this pH meter in later classes. This is the one of the method which can be used for determining the pH of a particular solution. So the determination techniques of pH are nothing but, first one is using the pH indicator papers or universal pH paper, and second one is a pH meter. So these two techniques are used to determine the pH of a particular solution. Okay. So up to now we discussed about the definitions for acid, base, different theories related to the acid and base, and properties, characteristics of acid and base, and we also discussed about the pH, what is meant by pH, and how the pH can be measured, and we also discussed about the pH scale. In next class, we are going to discuss about the buffers, types of buffers, buffer systems in pharmaceuticals and biological systems, buffer capacity. Thank you.